Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trep Talks. This is the show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today I'm really excited to welcome Diane Huynh to the show. Diane is the co-founder and owner of Bow and Marrow. Bow and Marrow is an Alberta, Canada-based company which offers sippable bone broth products that are handcrafted using only the best locally sourced ingredients, packed in space-saving, resellable bags for effortless use. And today I want to ask Diane a few questions about her startup story and some of the strategies and tactics that she has used to start and grow her business. So thank you so much for joining me today at Trep Talks, Diane.
Hi, thank you so much for reaching out to me, and I'm very excited to be a part of your podcast.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting business, and I'm really interested to know what was your startup story? How did you get the idea for this business, and how did you get started?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that I had zero experience in the food manufacturing business, so I dived pretty much with zero knowledge into this business. So a lot of learning curves, a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I grew up drinking bone broth, so when I moved to Canada, about going on 7 years, I wanted to start a business. I was a dental hygienist by trade. So I was practicing for about 8 years. So when I moved to Canada, I actually failed the dental hygiene board exam. Only because I studied from my books back home because I'm originally from the States. So then when I failed, I was just like, you know what? Forget it. I want to start my own business. I felt like there was an opportunity to introduce Canadians to bone broth. There wasn't a lot of competition out there at that time when I first started. So being that I grew up drinking bone broth and, I value the benefits, I wanted to share that with the Canadian market. So that's how we started. So I also have a business partner. So I came up with the idea, we formulated the recipe, and we started out at the farmer's market just to prove the concept and validate sales. And then on day one, we were super busy, and that's how it all started.
So the food business, because it's, I would assume it's kind of like, people are eating it and it's a health thing. Do you have to get like some sort of a license to manufacture food items? Did you have to get that? And what was the process like for that?
Yes, you do have to get like your food handler's permit certification through the province that you're working in, also the city level. But because we distribute our products Canada-wide, we have to work with the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Association. So we had to deal with them because it's more on a federal level.
Okay.
So yeah, having to, because we're also an animal-based product, so shipping from province to another requires a lot more certifications.
And when you were starting the business, like I would assume without those certifications, you wouldn't be able to sell even in your province. So was there like a whole process, like was there a waiting time to get like that? Or did you have to show certain documents that you're qualified to do this kind of manufacturing?
Yeah, so the first 2 years, we didn't know that we had to deal with the CFIA, meaning like on the federal level. So we were only producing for our province, Alberta, so we weren't shipping outside of it. Once we decided that we were growing and we were getting demand from other provinces, there was no wait list. We just had to do a lot of like lab testing and, showing the percentage of meat product that we were. But no, to answer your question, there were no wait lists. It was a pretty seamless process.
Okay. Now, you did mention that you're selling through two different channels, e-commerce and also retail. I'm very interested to know, and I'm going to ask you about e-commerce, but I'm very interested to know about the retail side of things. So initially you said that you were very involved in it. You were going out yourself, trying to get your product out in the retail market. So I want to know a little bit about that sales process, because you definitely have to be this, salesperson kind of a mindset to go out there and put yourself out there and your product out there and ask people to carry it. Can you share some of that experience? Because I think that is a part that comes in every businesses, every new business, where you have to go out and do the sales. So can you share your experience and how you did it?
Yes, I didn't really have a plan of action, to be honest with you. I didn't know what I was doing. I just mustered up the courage to go into a grocery store that I felt that would be a good fit for our products. And I just asked for the buyer and if I could speak to him right then and there, or her, and I would pitch my product. I didn't have
and were they generally forthcoming? Like you would go in there and you would say, can I talk to the buyer? And they would be like, would they come out, or they would say, no, they're not here, come back again? Like, did you
Oh
have any
yeah,
challenges?
some of the smaller stores, the buyers were there. I was able to speak to them. The bigger like grocery stores like Whole Foods or like Loblaws, they would just laugh at me. They're like, that you would have to go through corporate for that. But I didn't have a sales pitch or anything. I really just went in there and I talked about my products and why I believe it would sell in their grocery store, and the value of carrying our bone broths, because they didn't, again, like I said, when we first started, there wasn't a lot of competition. Maybe there was one or two. So like it was easy to get through the door because we're such a unique item at that time. I can't really tell you. I didn't have like any strategy.
Did you offer any incentive? Like, so there was this education process of sharing, like, this is my bone broth, these are the benefits, things like that. Did you have to offer like some incentive that, carry 20 packets of my, or 200 packets of my bone broth, and if you don't sell, I'll buy it back, or something like that?
No, we did not have any incentive. The only thing that I offered was to do demos, like store demos, to help increase the brand awareness and sales. So we did a lot of that in the beginning. It's like set up a table and give out samples. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, I didn't. Pardon me?
And to go to some of these bigger stores, can you share a little bit about what was the process of getting into some of these bigger stores?
These bigger stores, I would have to give credit to my sales team. I was hands off. We had goals to get into these stores, and my sales team, the broker who we work with, have been in the industry for over 10 years. So they already have relationships built with these buyers. Also, going to trade shows was key for us. So we went to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the CHFA, the Canadian Health Food Association trade show that happens twice a year. So one in the East Coast, Toronto, usually takes place in September. And then the West Coast in Vancouver takes place in February. So the trade shows helped us tremendously because the buyers, this is the trade show where all the buyers from all over Canada would come to. So that is where we would do our pitch to the bigger stores.
So when you say the sales team, is this like the distributor, or these are your own people employed by your company?
They're not employed through our company. We hire them. They're like our middleman to our distribution.
Okay. So you are selling. So basically, you had to sell to the distributor, and once you sold to the distributor, they can get your product out on in all the different big stores. Is that
So our sales team would go to these grocery stores and they would pitch, and let's throw it out there, like let's say Whole Foods. Um, our sales team would speak to the buyers at Whole Foods, get us through the door. So then once we get approved by Whole Foods would directly order from our distributor. Our distributor would purchase directly from us, and we would ship pallets to them.
So you had to get the sales contract first, and then the second part of that was that. So only when you had the sales contract with these bigger companies, then the distributor would buy from you?
Right. So yes, as soon as the grocery store approves us, they would not order directly from us. They will order directly from our distributor.
Why is that?
That's just the way that the grocery retail market works. So they would have their specific distributors that they work with, and they would purchase it directly from their catalog.
Okay, and it's to me this seems very interesting. So when you are negotiating with some of these like bigger stores, is this negotiation different from when you go out and talk to some of these smaller stores? What kind of course, these bigger stores are providing with you large volume. So I would assume that they would have a lot more power in terms of negotiation. So I'm very interested in knowing, what was that negotiation process like? Did you say, this is my price that I want to sell to you for this volume? And they were like, did they counter offer? Or can you share a little bit about that negotiation process?
Yeah, we do have wholesale prices set. They're all the same for every grocery store. So the only negotiations that we would do with the bigger grocery chains is, giving them like incentives as far as like sale campaigns. So like say back to school, they want to be able to give, their customers 15% off. So we would have to eat that cost. Okay. So just planning like sales and promotions with them. But as far as
but they would provide you the calendar for the whole sales and promotion,
correct.
I think at the beginning of the year or something.
Yeah, and then we on our end would approve it. So say if we want to be in their flyer, in September, then we would have to pay, for us to have a spot on the front page, for example. But as far as like negotiating our wholesale costs, we didn't do that, no.
Okay. So one more question that comes to mind, just because, when I shop in grocery stores, these kind of questions always come to mind, is what happens when, let's say Wholesale, Whole Foods bought, 1 million units of your products, for example. And I would assume they put it in different retail stores where they see the different demand for this item. What happens at the end of the life of this product? They're not able to sell a certain number of units. Is it that they're going to bear the cost of the unsold items, or do you have certain things in your contract that say that you will have to take the item back, or you have to share some of that cost?
No, there's no buyback on our end. The good thing about our products is that they're frozen and the shelf life is about a year. Okay. Like for example, Save on Foods, they do like a freezer category review every 6 months. So that's like the one thing that we always have to look out for, and making sure that we direct our customers to like Save-ons, because if they do a category review and the sales are not does not meet their expectation, they can pull us from their freezer.
Okay. I think we're going to move on now to the rapid fire round, where I'm going to ask you a few questions and you have to answer them in 1 or 2 words or 1 or 2 sentences. Okay. So the first question is, do you recommend any book for entrepreneurs or business executives in 2020, and why? Are you a big book reader?
I try to read 2 books a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love reading. The number one book that I would buy for everyone who is interested in starting their own business is by Seth Godin. It's called The Purple Cow. Have you heard of it?
I have, yeah.
Okay. It's remarkable. So that's the number one book that I would recommend.
An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you're excited about?
Oh, jeez. In the tech space?
E-commerce, retail, tech, any idea or product that you think is interesting, that you find it doesn't have to be in the food industry, but something that you find interesting, that you personally buy or you find that it's like an interesting
Yeah, I think the customizable vitamins, to be honest with you.
customizable vitamins. Okay.
Vitamins, yeah, like Ritual is a good brand. I thought that was a pretty cool innovation because I don't take them though, but I thought it was cool.
Okay. I
Because
mean,
you're able to
nothing wrong with that if it's somebody takes.
I just thought it was cool that you're able to customize it, like depending on like what you're deficient in, say like
Okay.
sleep or like you're stressed and you have like high anxiety. So they would customize a specific formula for you.
That sounds really interesting. So basically, there's like a questionnaire that asks you, you're more stressed, you feel this, you can't sleep, and then basically they'll give you a customized bottle of vitamins.
Yes, yes.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, very innovative. I don't take it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I wonder, like, if it is like 90% marketing, like, is it even effective? I don't know.
Yeah.
A productivity tool or software that you recommend?
I like Asana.
Asana. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Cool.
really good project management tool.
A startup or business in e-commerce, retail, or tech that you think is doing great things right now?
It's doing great right now. I think anything in the health and wellness industry, to be honest with you. Just because of COVID too.
Mm.
So I do believe that health is top of mind.
Mm. By the way, did COVID have any impact on your business? Did it increase sales, decrease?
Positive
Positive.
impact.
Okay, cool. A peer entrepreneur or business person who inspires you?
Sarah Blakely.
Sarah Blakely. Okay, cool. And finally, the best business advice that you have ever received or that you would give to other entrepreneurs?
Make all the mistakes. That's the only way you'll learn.